Hello, welcome. Today I will show you how to use Vue components with Razor pages in ABP Framework. I have already written an article about it. You can check it and follow this article to see and to learn how to use them. But I will show you today, right now, how to implement it, how to apply it. If you wish, you can just visit abp.io and community and articles. Then you can find any article in here, which is my article, the last one, but you can find it by searching it. So let's get started. First, I will create an ABP application. So let's create ABP new, not like that, but yeah, it's good. I will create app no layers because I don't need any complex backend codes. I will show you only in frontend, only in Vue components. So I need a no layers template. Let's say awesome to do will be my application name. Yeah, this is my projects folder. So that's it. It will take some time. Let's navigate to our project. This is my project name. I will open it my favorite editor, which is code. Okay, this is our application. Uh, there's no layers because only single layer. This is MVC application. That means it uses Razor pages here like CSS/HTML. So there's no interactivity in CSS/HTML unless you use JavaScript. But JavaScript uses jQuery by default. Yeah, jQuery still is a good option, and most of websites still using it. But I will show you building interactive components easily with Vue.js. Before we go, let's run our application once. I'll go with terminal. Firstly, I need to create my database. It says there's some problem. That's interesting. Okay, I will use my own connection strings. With just a terminal tool, command line tool, which is I developed. So it replaced pre-configured connection strings, so it doesn't matter. I just updated my app settings.json, and I will go with .NET run again. So this is not the part of the video. You probably know how to run an ABP application in on your own way. So now, yeah, I started migration my database. Everything is good. Now we are ready to go. I will run with just plain .NET Run command. After doing that, I will see an empty template, empty application page in the index, I think. So what was the URL again? This one. So this is our startup template. So yes, we are ready to go. So I will remove entire page and I will place my own implementation with Vue. So to do that, since this is index page, I will delete all the content. Bye bye. And this one too. Now we have a fresh start. I think, if there's no problem. Come on. Did we stop our application? No. Did I delete some braces? No. What happens? We had some problem, but I'm not sure what is it. Let's rerun our application. Yes, we have a fresh start right now. You can see this is empty page. Now we can go. I want to build Vue components, but first we need to add some dependencies in our ABP application. So the first dependency is ABP Vue package, npm package. So this package, not this, yes, this package brings Vue components feature initialization scripts in your application. So we will add it by using npm. I will stop my application and I will use npm install ABP Vue. This command will add this Vue package to my package JSON, but this is not enough. It's already added. This is not enough. I need to install it to my ASP.NET Core application. So that means I need to move it to www roots folder. So to do that, I will call ABP install libs command. So we are still not ready. Yeah, it is included in www root folder in the libs, but we haven't added it to in our bundle. So I will navigate back to my module class and find configure bundles. Here is the configure bundles. I will configure not styles. I will configure options, script bundles, and yeah, exactly the same thing. It depends on your team. Since I use Lepton X team, yeah, I will add it to my Lepton X bundles. But if you use basic team or Lepton X or something else you built on your own, you can use that bundle in your application. Like, let's say if you use basic team, you will write something like that. But now I'm using Lepton X team and I will use exactly the same. Not global script. Yes, global script will be included here, but I will add some new contributor, which will be add contributors, and not new. I'll pass a type of ABP Vue contributor or something like that. ABP Vue. Let me check the exact name. ABP Vue script. I couldn't write it. I will add exact same here. There is a namespace. Yeah, this namespace should be added in your application, in your file, in your module class. So this script contributor automatically adds this this file from our libs folder. You can do it manually, but we have already strong typed class for it. So let's go with this contributor. Now we are ready to go. Now I can go my index HTML file since we already cleared everything. So I will add new empty div and I will name it as, not name, I will give an ID to it as Vue app, not hello world. Okay. So this Vue app will be my application container. I will initialize a Vue application inside this div. So that means I can add multiple components in the Vue app. Yeah, I will do it in my index.html file. If you wish, you can do it in your layout and you can use globally Vue. That depends on you, but I will do it in my page right now. So that's good, but I need to define a new Vue component. Let's say this is message component. Yeah, I will write hello world inside it, but it's not enough because what if I want to pass parameters to a Vue component from CSS/HTML file? So let's say we have a message property here, and I will pass hello, not hello world. I will pass the current user. Since I'm not logged in, it will be null, but after I logged in, I can see my username. So, okay, but nothing will work because we need to initialize a Vue application for this div component, and we need to define this message component. So I need to write a JavaScript for it. I can create a script section and I can write everything in here, but we already have a separate JavaScript file in the same folder. You can say this is index.cshtml.js. I will write everything in here. So firstly, I will define a new view here. The element selector will be view application. So I will open it side by side, if I can do, yes. So this will be my view application container. So after, whenever I call this new view, so my view application will be initialized. But the view application doesn't have any component, so I need to define this message component. So since I initialize it here, I can, if I define it later, it won't work. So I will define at the top of the page. So let's say view component, message component. Yeah, this is the name of the component, and this is the content of the content of the component. So the component will render div message div. Maybe I can use paragraph for it. So this is my simple view component. It gets property as message, which is defined in here, message. So this indicates this one. So this one, oh, sorry. So this one will go there. So this is the logic of the view component. So let's run it. Well, from now, I won't stop my application because everything will be in the JavaScript side. So I don't have to build my backend again and again, unless I will add some endpoints to use to consume from my Vue application. So since it is built, let's run it once more. I'll make it full screen. I'm still waiting. I think it's ready. Let's refresh our page. Since we add a new JavaScript in our bundle, I will try hard refresh, or maybe do I have an error here? I'll clear everything related to my application. And let's check once more our Vue component. Everything seems okay. We have some error. It says hello is not defined. Okay, sorry. This is my bad. This is my bad. This will be included in a string, and then we are ready to go. This is my bad, but that happens in programming. Okay, we have hello and null here. So after I logged in, let me log in with my default super secret admin password. I can see the current user in the component. You can see hello admin. So this is not enough. Let's add some interactivity because I can just render something like that in my Razor application. It doesn't make any sense, but let's add some interactivity. I will add another component. I think it is hard to track. I will close the. I cannot. It's interesting. Okay. Let's continue in our CSHTML, and I will add another component, which will be counter component. Yeah, it's not mandatory. You cannot. You can just only say counter, but I will use dash component postfix for my components. So I will build a counter here. So let's define another view component here. It will be counter component, and let's go one by one. I will define a template first. Yeah, I will have a button which will has a click me button, and whenever I click, I will increment a count. But before we go, we need a count. Yeah, exactly like this. And a method increases count. But I want to render count in the button, in parentheses, and count. Now we are ready, but I need to add some class to my button now. Yes, this is my counter component. So everything is clear, everything is easy in Vue. This is a simple Vue component. So let's run it. Let's refresh the page and see our button. Whenever I click, everything is working inside Vue.js. So this is client side and also interactive. So there's no razor pages and there is no C# code here. So that's nice. We can make some interactivity and it works well. But how about a real world example? So I need to create a backend and consume it as to-do application. To do that, I will go, since this is a single layer application, I will write everything inside services. And let's create a to-do app service. Hello world, but yeah, it can work. I will use my pre-built application service here. So since this is awesome app service, I will use this as my base service. And also I need an interface to generate client proxies. So I will create it in right here. I will need a to-do item. Yeah, this is my to-do item. I have a description is done. There's no ID because I won't use any database and I will make everything inside my memory. So I'll make it simple because it's not a backend tutorial. It is not a backend video. We will focus on the Vue. So we are ready, I think. Let me check. Yes, this is good. We need to add some using statements, but I think I need a build. Yeah, I know. We have to add it. I think I'll reopen it. It still doesn't help. Okay, sometimes it happens. I will open it from the beginning. Now I will try to restore it again. Okay, everything is working. Now I can add the missing using statements. So that's it. I will separate them into different files. I will separate it. Okay, they will have their own files. So we are ready. I think. Is it registered? Yeah, since it is application source, it will be registered in the source. Now we have our endpoints. I will run my application once more. Also, I have some authorization here, and also I will add some localization to use in my Vue application. I will show you how to use ABP's features in the Vue components. I will refresh the page. So let's check if our, I'll make it bigger. Yeah. Let's check if our dynamic proxies are generated or not. So what was my application again? This is awesome to do. Awesome to do is my application name. So awesome to do is an object and it has services inside. You can see it. Services and to do inside it. You can see our proxies are generated. You can see we have two different JavaScript function that calls our API. So that means, yeah, we are ready to go. We can create everything is good. We can make JavaScript requests without doing anything. So before we go, I need to define these permissions in my permission provider, permission definition provider. So I'll remove everything. Let's say to do and context, not context, my group, add permission, and that's it. That's it. I won't use any localization to make it simple, but still I need to add some localization. Let's say E and JSON, and let's say to do, and to do localized. So we can know this is localized or not. So I have a localization, I have permission, And I also added authorize attribute for my endpoints. So everything will work without implementing a custom authorization or authentication logic in our Vue application, since it is loaded inside my application. So it doesn't matter. You can think about like that. It doesn't matter if you use jQuery, Ajax, or Vue. It doesn't matter because everything works inside this page. So it will use exactly the same cookies with your application. So you don't have to care about it. So let's call our endpoints from a Vue component. Since I added new permission and localization, I will rebuild my application and go back to index.cshtml and add another component. So which will be to-do component. So in this component, I will fetch the data, and I also add a new data to my to-do items. So it will be a little bit more complex than these examples, but we will use ABP's pre-built features. So let's navigate back to our JavaScript file and define another component. Yeah, it will be to-do component, but I won't use the suggested way because I will build something different. I will have a template, but I will have multi-line template, so I will use this character, and then that means I can write multiple lines, but not like that. I will build, it's hard to write while my editor suggesting something, but I will use, let me explain. I will create a new card, which will be class card. I will have a card header, and this card header is something like that. This card header will use ABP localization. So how we can use a localization here, since we don't access ABP JavaScript? So it's not correct. We also have access because you can see ABP. I will ABP dot localization dot localize, which is to do. Whenever you do that, okay, since I think I need to refresh my page because I just built my application and I need to download the latest JavaScript code. So whenever I call this, you can see to do localize. So that means it comes from my localization. If I do that, if I call this function, yeah, I can use ABP's localization inside Vue. Let's check. If I write it here directly, it doesn't work. I need to use this pattern. So I won't do rest of thing. Let's check if we can see the localized one or not. Since we define it, it should work. I will refresh the page. Yeah, you can see to do localized. So we perfectly used ABP localization. Let's continue. In the card, I will add a body, card body. Not like that. I will list all of them here. Okay, I'll skip card body. I will make it later, and I will add a card footer. In the card footer, I will have an input. It is not good. I will build something else. So in the card footer, I will add new to-do items. Yeah, like that. I will have a description for my, let me show, for my to-do item, because to-do item has a description and is done. We have two different fields. So I will add a input for my description and checkbox for is done. So, but I need a model like that. So in the data, let's define it. I have a to-do object which includes description and is done. Whenever I click this button, but there's no button right now, so let's add a button. Okay, whenever I click this button, I will call add to do function, but we don't have it right now. So we have add to do, but we won't call this console log. Let's check if we can call. I can write something and check if it is done or not. Whenever I hit, you can see I can write some output to the console. But what do I want to do? The thing is what I want to do. Awesome to do dot services dot to do dot add to do item. So this is the method I want to call. So I can call it directly since they are in the same page, same window. So I can call it directly. So I'll pass this to do right now here. So this is good approach, but let's check if we can add or not. I add something and it says you are not authorized. Since we add authorization, so we cannot send it because we don't have permission. So that means, yeah, permission is working. We can call our client proxies, but there's something else. If we do not have permission, we have to skip. We have to hide that button. So there's a way in the JavaScript in ABP, which is abp.out is granted. So whenever you call it, you can check if the policy is granted or not. If I pass to do here, it returns me false. If I pass it to do .create, it will return me false since I do not have permission. Let's add permission to me, not me, my role. I will go to my admin role, permissions, and this is my application name, and I will add to do and to do create permission to me. I will go back to my index page and I will call this one. And you can see it is true. So I can add a new to do right now. Let's do one and let's say it is done. Okay, I think we made a network request. You can see, and it returns. It's okay. That means yeah, everything is successful. I can add new to do item while I have permission. Of course, we will clear this input, etc. But the logic we want to implement first, if we have permission, we can see this form. If we do not have permission, we have to hide this form. So our condition is depending on this code. I will copy this code and use it inside my Vue component. I will hide the entire card footer here. Not loading. If I already copied it, it depends on this condition. So let's check if it is working. So since we have permission, we can see it right now, but I will remove my permission, remove my create permission here. Now I won't be able to see. You can see I cannot see. So I can use ABP Localization, ABP permissions, and ABP Client Proxies, Dynamic Proxies inside Vue component, and I don't have to care. I don't have to think about anything. I can just directly writing my Vue component. So let's complete our example. Let's list the to-do items in the page. But before we go, let me give my permission back. Where was it? Yeah, here. So let's go back. Now, I know this is not a good design. I will make it a little bit fancier while making this card body deflex and flex column. Maybe gap 2. And I will add border top. I think this is much better. Yes. Also padding top 2. So it is more nicer. Now I will list all the to-do items inside my card body. But first let's make our add to do function as async and clear. Add a status. Let's say is adding will be false. I will manage state like that. So it is easy to manage states in the Vue. So That's why we use Vue here, not in the new to-do. It will be inside the root of my data. I will use the state. Whenever this is adding is true, I will disable my button. Let's say disable is adding. So I will disable it, and after a request is finished, I just clear the component and reset the state. Maybe we can disable the other input too. So let's check once to do test 2. It is pretty fast, we couldn't see it, but button will be disabled while I'm sending a new request. Since I want to show you how the state works, I added a delay here while getting to do items, so we will see that indicator while getting items. So let's continue implementing it in the card body. I will add another state, which is loading, and I will add the real to-do item array here. I will represent 2 of them inside my card body. Let's create a proper way to do it. I will paste it, but I will explain it one by one. You can see I added a bootstrap loading indicator if it is busy, not busy, is loading in our case. Sorry, it's my bad. If my div is loading, I will show the loading indicator. If else to-do item has items more than 0, I will list all the to-do items in a unordered list and list item. If else, I can say not to do yet. So this is empty state, empty view. So this is my logic. It's easy to manage states like that, and you don't have to update, and you don't have to add a query and update the HTML components always like jQuery. It is much more easier way to manage. Even you can separate these components into different Vue components to make it manageable, because this component grows bigger and bigger and it will be hard to maintain. You can separate this form into another component. You can separate this listing component into another component. You can separate everything into smaller Vue components and call multiple components inside a Vue component. But for demonstration purposes, it is short, and I will go like that. Since we implemented it, but we haven't loaded, let's add another method to load our data from our API. So get to do's is good, but I'm not sure the Copilot writes correctly. Let's go back our browser. So yeah, correct. This is correct way to call it. We can check. Gets all the to-do items. Since we don't have any pagination or something else, we don't have to pass anything. We can call like that when we assign all the to-dos from API to our to-dos variable. And we manage state like that. While it's loading, it will make it true and show indicator. So this is easiest logic, but we have this function, but we haven't called it yet. So nothing will be loaded in the component because this get to do's isn't invoked. So we will use mounted lifecycle method, which is called by automatically whenever this component is loaded. So we will call this get to do's function. Let's refresh our page. Okay, I think we made a mistake. Methods. Yeah, we write it in a wrong place. So maybe we don't have. Let me check if the request is done. Okay, we have a problem here. Let's check what is going on. Yeah, the place I think was correct. Okay, okay. The first one was correct. I think I forgot to save it. I'm not sure. I will watch the record, and now that is and right now it's working. Now you can see we have two to-dos in the list. I will refresh. You can see the loading indicator is visible, and then I can see the list. Let's add something new to do test 3. And whenever I add, I cannot see because we haven't refreshed the list. So there's two different options. You can refresh the list by calling get to-dos. This will refresh entire collection, and that will work. Or you can just push the new item to the list. Since we don't have any pagination, so we can do it easily, so it will work. But while working larger amount of data, it's always good to refresh the page. Let's check this one, and we will use refresh later. I'll refreshed, get all of the data, now to do test 4, and I added it. Since I pushed it directly, so this is the bug, because I made it empty before I push it. Maybe I need to do something like that. Push first, then clear it. After doing that, everything will work. We do test 5. I added it. Still we have problem. Okay, still again, I forgot to save it. I will refresh it, and I will try one last time. To do test 6. Okay, it is directly added to list, but sometimes, not sometimes, most of times, uh, this isn't a good approach, and you need to refresh all the page. So this is the good approach. So in this time, I will refresh all the list to do test 7. Let's make it done. And you can see all the list is refreshed whenever I add new item, and the page isn't refreshed. The component refreshed itself. So this is the power of using Vue inside ABP application, and we can use all the ABP features like localization, permissions, authentication authorizations, and you can see we can use client proxies easily without a pain. So this is a powerful approach. You don't have to write only jQuery in your application. You can try Vue components in your next application. Thank you for watching me. I hope it helps. You can always contact me to ask your questions. Thank you again. See you in the next session.